You know those challenges we all face? The ones that just feel huge, like modern-day giants? Well, what if the playbook for defeating them was actually written thousands of years ago? In this explainer, we're going to dig into how ancient stories can give us the tools to fight today's biggest battles. And we're drawing from a very, very old and wise source.
So, our guide for this journey is Zoran the Dragon. And his point is, well, it's a powerful one. These old tales, these so-called metaphors, they're not just fluff. They have real teeth, real power, especially when we need them the most. So, let's dive in.
Okay, so Zoran kicks things off by telling us that the world is still absolutely full of monsters. But here's the catch. The central problem is that they've changed their shape. They don't look like what we'd expect anymore.
Now, this slide really breaks it down, right? The contrast is fascinating. The monsters of myth, they had claws and fangs. Today's giants wear suits, and they're driven by ambition. The old ones hid out in caves and shadows. The new ones hide behind screens and endless lines of code. And their weapon isn't some destructive roar. It's complex rules, it's systems, often disguised as progress. They're so much harder to see, but believe me, they are just as real.
And this is Zoran's core insight. It's the deep, scaly truth of it all. Despite all the new costumes and the fancy modern tactics, the fundamental fight hasn't changed one bit. That feeling of being small against something just overwhelmingly large, yeah, that's timeless.
Which, of course, brings us to the central question of this whole thing. When the problem is a vast system, or a feeling of isolation, or some global crisis, how in the world do you find your courage? How are you supposed to fight an enemy you can't even point to?
The answer, according to our wise dragon, isn't to go out and invent some brand new weapon. Nope. It's to pull out some very, very old maps. And this is where we shift from just looking at the problem to finding the solution.
So this is crucial. We need to totally rethink what a myth actually is. Forget about the idea of some dusty old museum piece and a relevant story. A myth in this context is a practical tool. Think of it like a survival guide, a compass that has guided people through the exact same feelings of fear and injustice for centuries. It shows us the way forward. And Zoran doesn't just leave us there. He gives us 3 specific keys, 3 ancient stories that are perfectly shaped to unlock the challenges we're facing right now.
All right, key number 1. This is a story I bet most of us know. David and Goliath. It's the ultimate underdog tale, right? But maybe, just maybe, we've forgotten its true power.
See, the lesson from David isn't just that the little guy can win, it's how he wins. Goliath was weighed down by his armor, his size, all his conventional power. But David? He was fast, he was clever, he was precise. This story teaches us that our inner strengths, our heart, our courage, our unique ideas are absolutely formidable weapons against bulky, slow-moving giants.
Okay, on to our second key. This one comes from the story of a titan who made a huge, and I mean huge, risky choice, all for the sake of humanity.
Prometheus stole fire, and by fire we mean knowledge, invention, progress, from the gods because they were hoarding it, leaving humanity in the dark. His story is this powerful reminder that being a hero isn't always about following the rules. Sometimes it's about courageously defying an unjust system or a harmful rule for the good of other people.
And for our third and final key, we turn to the story of Rama, a hero who fought his battles in a fundamentally different way. So Rama faced this embodiment of evil, but his victory wasn't just about his strength in battle. It was secured by his character, his integrity, his loyalty to his allies, his unwavering commitment to doing the right thing. This story shows us that kindness and truth are not weaknesses. They are a steady, quiet, and pretty much unbreakable form of power. All right, so we've got our 3 keys. Now for the fun part. Let's see how they actually fit the locks of our modern world. This is where those ancient maps start to guide us through today's territory.
And this just lays it out so perfectly. Facing the giant of climate change? Yeah, that's a Prometheus fight, using knowledge and invention to care for the world, even when powerful forces say not to. Fighting unfair laws or corporate greed? That's a classic David and Goliath story, using focused truth to challenge a massive opponent. And that quiet giant of loneliness? We fight that like Rama, by simply showing up for people with loyalty and with kindness.
And this is so important to get. Every time you choose one of these actions, sharing knowledge, speaking up, or just being a good friend, you're not just getting through the day.
You are actively playing the role of the hero in your own modern myth. Your story is unfolding right now.
Okay, so what's next? What do we do with all this? It's not enough to just understand the map, right? So Zoran gives us a quest, a dragon trial, to help us actually start using it.
This beautiful little couplet from Zoran's poem, man, it just sums everything up perfectly. Your power doesn't come from external things. It comes from the character, the courage, and the vision that you already have inside you.
So here it is, your heroic quest. First, draw your giant. Actually identify what feels too big or too scary. Second, name your power. What's your unique slingshot? Is it your voice, your art, your kindness? Third, tell your tale. Imagine your victory and write it down. And finally, and this is the most important step, share it. Tell your story to someone you trust, because every single story that gets shared makes the world just a little bit braver.
And that brings us right to the final thought. Every giant we face is ultimately just posing a question to us. It's asking, what will you do? It's asking, who are you going to be? The story isn't written yet. The giant is a question, and your life is the answer.